Well, today's the day that 63 Impala, alias Waylon War, is coming to visit, and he couldn't have picked a more lovely day. Look at that sun coming up, and look how it lights up the little pine needles on the tree there. Oh, it's so cool looking. So he's driving his 63 Chevy Impala. I've got the rat rod and the Studebaker. They're pretty much turnkey cars, just jump in them and go. The Rambler also is, but I don't drive it very much, and it's been sitting here and sitting here and sitting here and sitting here and sitting here, just getting dustier and dustier. And I thought, well, it might be nice to have the Rambler out. We might have a car driving session where I drive his and he drives mine. And it'd be nice to have this where it was a turnkey car. I didn't have to pour gas down the carburetor to get it going, which is usually the quickest way to get one of these cars to go. Now, a lot of y'all are young folks, and y'all didn't grow up in the age of carburation, so you don't know about carburetors. But, you know, the nice thing about carburetors is that you can get them going after they've been sitting, sometimes even for years and years, with a little splash of gas down the carburetor. If you got far, which means your spark plugs are igniting, and you got gas and compression and such as that, you can get her to go. Now, because this one's been sitting so long, all the gas is dried up out of the carburetor, I'm pretty sure. And these carburetors have a thing called an accelerator pump, and you accentuate the accelerator pump by pumping the gas. What that does is literally, there's a pump built right in the carburetor that shoots gas down the hole there when you do that. So I'm sitting here pumping this to shoot a bunch of gas down the hole, hopefully. Now sometimes the gas will kind of drain off down the fuel line and wind up not being available for the carburetor. That could happen, so I might still wind up having to shoot a little ether in it or something, but let's just see. So, tell me the battery's dead. Oh, I know what. I disconnected the battery cable. I always do that so I don't, it's kind of a fire prevention thing. Let me hook that back up. Hold your horses. I saw a movie one time about a bunch of guys who were stranded in the desert in a crashed airplane. And they built a new airplane out of parts, and they had to fire something that looked like a shotgun shell to spin the motor over. So they only got the one chance. And this is not quite as dramatic as that. I might have a can of ether somewhere. I might have to go see if I got it, find it, and bring it around here. Squirt a little bit down in there. That'll get her going, either that or some gasoline. Probably got some gasoline around here in a mustard can somewhere too. I was hoping I'd get her to fire up though. Sometimes when you get the gas down in there, she'll go. Oh, there you go, just when I was about to give up. There you go, come on baby. You can do it. Come on baby. Sounds pretty good. She didn't spit out a cloud of smoke either. That's interesting. Alright, I'm going to close the hood down, and then we'll back out of here. Oh boy. gonna let her run a little bit. This car has the slowest gas gauge I've ever seen. What I mean by that is the gauge will go up to about a quarter, and it'll sit there, and then it'll go up a little bit, and go up a little bit, and go up a little bit. So it's got a quarter of a tank, which in this car's probably a pretty good bit. But I'm gonna let it run just to get some heat going in the engine, and give that gas gauge time to see if it's gonna go any higher. And I'll cut it off before I start washing it. But one of the things I did, I don't know if I made a video out of this or not, but I put a water faucet right, facing the wrong way. I put a water faucet right there. And I figured that'd be a good place to wash cars, and it would be in line with Honey Babe's little gardening stuff. And see, I got my hose right there. I got my bucket right there. I probably still got some soap in it, and I can pull that out here, right where she's sitting, and wash all the neglect off of it. Let's see what this water here looks like. I could title this video "Washing the Neglect" off of my 64 Rambler American. A lot of people don't know what these cars are anymore. They ain't made them in a long time. This car looks a lot like a Chevy 2. If you look at the rear fender back there, you see a lot of Chevy 2 look. I always thought the grill looked a lot like a Plymouth Valiant. A Chevy 2 of this vintage would cost you 10 times what this car will cost you. And this car is basically, well, it has the running gear that's not that much different than what you could have got in a Chevy 2 back then. It's got a Chevy 350 with the 350 3-speed with a B&M hydro kit and dual exhaust, and has a Chevy rear end. And the biggest difference between this mechanically and a Chevy 2 is this front suspension. On the Ramblers use these things called trunnions. And trunnions are a lot like, what's them things that all the cars have got on them nowadays? I can't think of it, but it's like a tower. It's a combination of shock absorber and coil spring. What do they call them things? You know what I'm talking about, because a lot of you guys have changed them on your cars. Mustangs and stuff got them, I think. Some Mustangs had the regular front end, it had a A-frame style front end. Those are pretty popular for hot rod use. What'd I do? Wrap that pole around the wrong side, or I'm just stuck on the tractor spine? That's what it is. This one's got them kind of, it's not coilover like the coilover shocks on the, what's the word I'm looking for? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. See how they got, see that? I believe that's bird stuff there. Could be something. Anyway, wash that off there. This would be a good car to do a cross-country trip like 63 Impala's doing. The Studebaker would be a good one too, but the Studebaker is fenderless. It doesn't have a lot of insulation. It has some heat. This one doesn't have an air conditioner, and neither does the Studebaker, and that might be something you'd want. But I'm pretty sure, depending on what time of year and where you was going, you probably want that. But this is the one that's the closest I've got to a long-range car. Back years and years ago, when they did the last 100-car pileup over in, I think it was Indiana, I had planned to meet Waylon Wire there, and I was working a full-time job, and I didn't have much vacation time. I didn't have much money, and eventually I had to back out almost at the last minute, which was kind of bad. But I was going to take this car. I wasn't sure the car would make it back then, but I know it would now, because when I gave it to Josh, he drove it. He flew to Maine, jumped in it, drove it from Maine to South Carolina. So looking back, yeah, it would have made it. And I probably should have took that trip, but we all have our regrets in life. If that's the worst regret I got, I'd say I ain't got nothing to feel too bad about there, you know. There's worser things that I even regret. So this car is scheduled to get that other big motor that's in the garage over there that Todd built for me, and that's on my list of things to do. And I'm actually going to enjoy that. I put it off long enough so that I'm kind of looking forward to doing it. You know, sometimes when you're doing something, you think, dang, I got to go do this thing or that thing. But when you put it off long enough, you get to where you actually enjoy the idea of doing it, and that changes everything. Y'all still recording? I'm gonna go cut this thing off. Soap. Put it in my bucket. I don't think I got enough soap in there. I like more bubbly. I like to see the bubbles roll. I'll cut y'all off. Be back in a bit. Love y'all. See you in a bit. See you in the funny papers.